All right, fantastic. You can all hear me all right? Yes, awesome. So good morning, good morning. My thought for you that I've been playing with this week is on, it's on our interconnectedness and looking at it in a way where we don't have to feel that there's something that is taken away from us in order for there to be that feeling of togetherness, because this is what often happens. There's a mantra that's given in Kundalini Yoga usually, and what it translates to is that you are me and I am you. And it's a beautiful one, and on some levels we like it, but then usually what happens is somewhere in our minds we start to get into that stuckness where in order for you to be me and me to be you, I have to start imagining that there's this mirror and that things that I see in you have to exist in me and things in me have to exist in you, and maybe that means I have to like you even though I kind of don't like you, and I have to, we do all this like mental rearranging, and then we get tired of it because we're willing to do it for some people and we're not willing to do it with others. And it gets confusing, right? Because we have this sort of mixing of identity, and that's not the point of the mantra, right? The point of the mantra is not to, on an identity level, say that I am you and you are me, but it's to get us to that level of the interconnectedness that says that we all come from the same source. And that if we're operating from that point of view, that what you have in you is meant to be different than what's inside of me. And so when we come together, we create a completeness, and what's in you that isn't in me helps to refine who I am, right? So it brings us to a place where we don't have to be in competition in that interconnectedness. We don't have to be in a place of conflict in that interconnectedness, because there's no identity that is getting in the way, right? So that's what it means to get into that space of really being interconnected, is that my identity is not in conflict with yours. Right? This concept of the little I am is not in conflict with you. It's meant to be that we create a wholeness because we are different. So the way I've been retranslating that concept of you are me and I am you is by saying, if you win, I win. And if I win, you win. Which means that if I'm doing everything I can to be the best person that I can be, that I know that I can be, and you equally are doing that for you, you're coming to a place where you're not in conflict with who you are, and I'm not in conflict with who I am. We step out into the world and there's no more need for competition, right? We see each other and say, let's act in a way where what I do gives you the chance to win it being you, and what you do gives the chance to me to win it being me, and together that means everybody gets uplifted. Right? So the idea is that all of us get to be exactly who we are in the best way possible, but we're doing it with the others in mind. We're doing it with the rest of the interconnectedness of creation in mind, because it's not just you and me, it's everything, right? It's the ants and the bees and the trees and the clouds and everything that exists is part of that interconnectedness. So this is what I've been playing with, is can you take it from a stance of, if I win, you win. And if you win, it means that I win. So can I act in a way where I am using what's in front of me, the people in front of me, the relationships that I have, to refine my understanding of who I am? So that when I perfect that, there's no conflict in me. I'm completely at peace. That's what I bring into the world. And then it becomes, I want you to do well with whatever it is that's in your life to do. And even if I don't love the personality that you are, I still want you to do well, because if you win, I win, right? So comfortable seat, this is what we practice, is figuring out how to get past those places in our mind that stop us from being the best version of ourselves that's possible. And it's often those conversations that pop up even around mantras, which we know can be helpful, and our mind says, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to change the way I think about myself or the other person for that to happen. So what do? You get around it. You go to the place in you that already knows that we are fundamentally interconnected. Eyes closed, breathe deep. As you're breathing, I want you to bring the attention out of that space of your mind that's moving too fast. I want you to breathe that breath all the way down deep into the heart center, so you feel the breath expanding there. All the desires, the needs, the feeling of wanting to be loved and wanting to be giving love. Breathe into that. And then drop your breath down even deeper. Drop it down into your pelvis, so even below your belly button, although you'll feel your whole belly expand, but drop it down. Because even those heart desires can get a little bit confused if the mind is stuck in its conversation. So breathe deeper down into the place where your sense of identity lives, which is down deep in the pelvis, down deep in the root. Who you think you are. What place you believe you occupy in the world. Get into that and feel that it's going to feel like it's a narrow space, right? There's a reason it's down deep in the dark. It might feel like it's narrow, maybe it doesn't. But whatever it does feel like, can you take that space and start to expand it into the biggest possible variation of that feeling? Can you magnify it? With every breath, can you magnify it? And every time there comes up a little excuse in you about why you can't be that big version of yourself, you breathe into that magnified vision again. You say, I know that excuse is there. Breathe beyond it. I know the reasons that I continue to stay in the limited thinking that I have. Breathe beyond it. Good. Then last big breath in, please stretch your arms all the way up alongside your ears. Reach. Good. And then on the exhale, bring the palms together. Bring the hands straight down that center line until the thumbs come to the heart center. Lift your heart up to meet your thumbs. And we'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands from in front of your heart center, please. And then bring the hands to the front of the knees or the thighs. Start to cat-cow your spine. So inhaling, lifting long as you take the heart nice and high. Exhaling, curling into the back of the body. Good, as you draw the navel in and up. Nice. And move your spine. Have the head be part of the spine. So keep it in line with whatever movement you're doing. The inhale lifts through the front of the throat. The exhale lifts through the back of the throat. Good. I am you and you are me. Same experience of humanity runs through both of us, but it's going, all of us, but it's going to look distinctly different, as it should. There's no perfect version of myself that I have to become in order to make sense in the world, or in order to fit what I think that maybe you need from me or someone else needs from me. We get caught in that too as yogis, that if I could just become this type of person instead of the type of person my mind is, then I'd be happy, then I'd be free. So instead of that, what if you could just be exactly who you are with no excuses? And that's the perfect person that you are meant to be, but that self that has no conflict. Come back to neutral, please. Take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Hug the elbows in just a little bit. Press the back of your head into your hands. So that cupping the elbows in, I want you to feel almost that you can squeeze the lower edges of your armpit. So drag those elbows down in space. Good. So the hands stay behind the head. The elbows are slightly in, but then push them down so that you can squeeze into your armpits. I want you to feel like your armpits are engaged. Good. And then lift the heart just a little bit higher, like you're coming into a little baby back bend. Good. From the back of your heart, rise up, but squeeze those elbows in so you're not pulling through the front of your shoulder joints. Good. And then come back to that neutral upper back and then start to twist to your right, please. Hands still behind your head. Good. Nice, you guys. So you're drawing the chest wide, but you're keeping those elbows slightly hugged in. Press your head back into your hands even more. Good. And then you're taking your left hand to your outer right knee, please. Good. Keep the hand behind your head. Lean to your left. Yep, so you're leaning over that left thigh. Good. Keep the hand behind your head so that you remember to keep drawing your throat back. Draw your low rib cage in. Spiral that right armpit up towards the ceiling more. Good. Relax your legs, even though you're using them as your anchor. That's it. Good. Now stretch that right arm all the way over the ear as you reach. Beautiful. Heart to the sky. Good. And then release the right hand to your left knee so your arms are crossed, reaching for opposite knees. Drop your chin towards your chest as you come out of the twist, round into your back. Good. Relax your shoulders away from your ears, but pull up through your back rib cage more. So you're hollowing the inside spaces. You're hollowing from the front of the body. Beautiful. And then release the arms, come back up to neutral spine. Take the hands back behind your head. Good. And again, elbows are wide, but bring them slightly forward so that you soften the front of the shoulder joint. Press your head back into your hands, keep your chin level, and then start to, from the back of your heart, drag your shoulder blades in and tilt up. So it's the back of the shoulder blades that's actually the lower tip of the shoulder blades that's dragging in and pushing up through the back of the heart to open. And then pull those elbows down. Yup. Feel your collarbones go wide, lift the chin, drop your head back, baby back bend. Good. And then bring yourself back up to neutral spine, please. Hands still behind the head, twist to your left. Good. Yeah, so the trick is to keep the armpits going wide, even though the elbows are gently cupped in. Good, so you have to find the widening through your chest, but don't pull just through your arms. Good, and then right hand comes to outer left knee, please. Good, lean to your right, so you're leaning over the right thigh. Hand is still behind your head so that you press back into the long line of your throat, so that you draw your rib cage in. And then you remember, right, you have to use that space of below your navel to draw in. Send your left butt cheek down to the floor. Yeah, and then take the left arm over the ear, reaching long. Good, so it's the whole side body that's reaching. As you're reaching from your hip down to the floor, but then you're reaching from your rib cage all the way up and out. Nice. And then as you come out of the twist, drop that left hand to your right knee. So you're crossing the arms, drop your chin towards your chest, round into your back again. Good. Soften the shoulders away from the ears so you can use the pressure of the hands on the knees and then pull up through the back of your ribs more. That's it. And then release the arms, please. Nice job. Roll forward to hands and knees. You know, it's a lot of effort for me to do a gentle warm-up, so I'm trying hard for you guys. Hands and knees, please do some hip circles. Good. Make them meaningful hip circles. This becomes part of the practice as well, is that everything that you do is for the purpose, the benefit of creating that peaceful environment within you, creating that peaceful environment outside of you, because what emanates from you is peace. So even your hip circles, right? It's not a waste of time. It's a place to find, am I comfortable in this body? That's what an asana practice is for. Can I become comfortable in this body? Move your hips the other way. And that doesn't mean that I'm trying to change my body into something other than what it is. I'm trying to find the maximum, best, efficient range of motion, the most comfortable, the most uplifting range of motion this body can be, this body can do. Good. And then come back to neutral, please. Keep your hips right on top of your knees. Walk your fingertips forward like you're in a downward facing dog with your knees on the floor. Yep. So walk yourself forward a lot so that you're up on your fingertips. Good. And the hips are staying right in line with the knees. So don't drop them back to the heels, but I want you to feel that you are pulling the tops of your thighs back, that you're pulling your hips up and back. Good. So on fingertips, please cat-cow your spine. Good. A little bit more extended. Nice. And I want you to feel that when you inhale into that cow position, that you are dragging back on the arms, so that as you inhale, you're pulling your chest forward and you're pulling your arms into the shoulder socket. So it's going to give you more space. And maybe you have to take your hands wider on your mat to make that feel comfortable. That's fine. Good. Nice, you guys. And then the next time you come to the cat position where your back is rounded, pause there. Make sure that your hips are truly on top of your knees. So move them back in space if they're not there. But keep that drawing in of your ribs and of your low belly. And then maintain that. So you have that lift of your armpits and your arms. But start to lift the back of your throat. Pull your collarbones forward. Keep your navel in, your ribs in. Good. And start to arch the upper spine just a little bit, like you're trying to do a back bend, but at the same time, you're trying to keep your back in that cat position. So you're trying to round and arch at the same time. Collarbones up and wide. Pull those arms in. Do not drop your ribs. Keep your navel drawn in, hollow. Throat up. Good. So you're looking forward towards your fingertips. One more breath. Nice. And then go ahead and walk your hands back. Let the knees go wide. Hips come back to your heels. Child's pose. Yes, this is me being gentle. Beautiful, you guys. Walk your torso to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Good. All of the reasons you have to not be the absolute best version of yourself that you know is possible. As they rise up in your mind, literally they say it's like a parade, right? You can watch the parade go by, all of the reasons why you can't do this or won't do that. Can't possibly say it that way, can't possibly look like that, be like that. That parade goes by, can you watch it and then also breathe beyond it? Come back to center, please. Walk yourself to the left-hand corner of your mat over your left thigh. Every time you look at someone else and you see something in them that you wish looked like that in you, and that little bit of jealousy pops up, or that little bit of envy, or that little bit of a desire of, if only I could be like that. You acknowledge that, and then also breathe deeper into what it is that you do that is brilliant. And that if there is something in you that wants to grow, grow it the way that it looks in you. Be inspired by what someone else is able to do with their body, their mind, their life. And then use that inspiration to grow the heck out of your life the way that it looks. Come back to center. That's where we get into the problem, right? We try to become the other person that we're inspired by instead of being the greater, the Maha version of ourselves. Good. Walk your hands back in, please. Come up to a kneeling position. So come up high, kneeling position, hands to your hips. And then take your right leg out wide to the right. So if you have another person on the mat next to you, you need to stagger yourselves a little bit or turn to the side. So your right leg comes straight out wide to the right. Good. Yep. Move that foot forward just a little bit so that you have a neutral line at the front of your hip. So you don't want the foot to be back behind you. The heel should be in line with your left knee. And then stretch your arms out wide, letter T. Good. Take the right arm down the right thigh, please, reaching towards any amount towards the right ankle. And then left arm comes over the ear. Nice. Even as you're reaching, I want you to squeeze your legs towards each other. So you're squeezing the knee and the extended leg towards each other. And then you're drawing that outer left hip back just a little bit. So your rib cage moves back just a little bit. Nice. And then keep reaching through that left arm and take your right arm up underneath you so that it's reaching. Yeah, both arms up. Good. Yep. So you got to squeeze the legs, and then I want you to lean even more to the right so that you really get into your left side body. Good. Really good, Sherry. Nice. Good, Anne. Beautiful. Bring it all the way back up to center, please. Stretch the arms out wide. Good. You're going to go the other way, so reaching the left arm out and down either to the floor or a block or whatever furniture you have convenient. Take the right arm over the ear and reach. Good. Press into your right heel as you're reaching. Nice, nice. Beautiful, you guys. One more breath. Good, and then bring yourself all the way back up to center, please. Nice job. Hands to your hips, switch the legs. So the right knee comes underneath the right hip, left leg comes out wide to the left. Good. Heel is in line with your right knee. So bring the foot forward enough so that that's the alignment that you have. And then make sure that your right hip is on top of your right knee so that you're not falling into this sort of like half sideways split. You want to have a neutral line on that standing leg, so on the right leg. So Valerie, pull your legs a little closer so that your right hip is on top of your right knee. There you go. Better. Yep, yep, yep. And then take the arms out wide. Good. Stretch the left arm down the left leg, please. Reaching again any amount towards the ankle or the calf. Right arm comes over the ear. Good. And now the top of that right hip is going to have the tendency to spin forward, so draw it back. Good. And imagine that you are lengthening, so you're actually pushing down through that right thigh, down through that right shin. So you're actually pushing your leg long into the floor. And then reaching, not just through your armpit, but you're reaching all the way from the top of that right hip. Good. And then don't change the legs unless you're squeezing them towards each other more. Float the left arm up underneath your ear as well, so both arms reach to the side. Good. And as you're reaching, turn that right rib cage higher towards the sky and draw that right top hip back. Yes, and then lean a little bit more to the left. Good. Really good, you guys. Good, try not to look so miserable. And then come all the way back up. I know that's the hard part, arms wide. Reach the right arm out and down to the side, please. So you can use a block there if you need, or again, a piece of furniture if you have one. Left arm comes over the ear, reach. And same attitude, right? It's that you're trying to reach as long as you can through the side body. So push through that baby toe edge of your left leg. Good. Spiral that left rib cage a little higher towards the ceiling. Soften that right arm that's holding you so it doesn't push forward as you open the rib cage. Low ribs draw into the back body so that the back of your spine is full. Nice. And throat is back. Good, you guys. Come all the way back up, please. Beautiful. Release the hands down to the floor, hands and knees, and find your way into plank pose. And a gentle warm-up. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not, I don't know, we'll see. So I want you to find that feeling again that you are dragging back on your hands. Lift your chest forward and up. So I almost want you to, again, look back towards your belly button. Let's do it this way. Round into your back body. So pull up, pull up, pull up. Good. And then maintain that pulling up as much as you can, but start to lift your chest forward, lift through the back of your throat. So it's like your upper back is trying to find that arch, but your mid and lower body is trying to stay in that cat position where everything is hollowed in. And then drag the arms back like you're going to roll forward towards your tippy toes. That's it. Push through the crown of your head. That's plank pose. Nice job. Right hand holds you, please. Vasisthasana. Turn onto the baby toe edge of your right foot. Left arm to the sky. Good. Rib cage draws in. And then again, you're opening the heart up to the sky, please. Beautiful. And then bring it back to plank pose. Inhale. Good. That same reaching forward and back. Turn to the other side. So left hand holds you. Good. Right arm to the sky. Stacking the feet. If the ankles need to be crossed, they can be, but make sure that you're still opening through the chest, opening through the hips. Pull your throat back. Really good. And then release back to plank pose. Deep breath in. Good. Take the hips nice and high as you exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Bend your elbows wide in your down dog. So you plug those arms into the shoulder socket. And again, feel the armpits hug in. Nice. And then squeeze your elbows back towards each other so they rotate towards the back of your mat. And press into the thumb and first finger. Reach out through your fingers, but then pull up through your hips more. Pull back to let the arms come to straight. And then push the crown of your head towards your fingertips. Nice. Right leg up and back, down dog split. Good. Keep the legs straight, please. Stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. Not collapsing in the left armpit, so you keep your left rib cage nice and wide. Beautiful. One more deep breath. Leg is straight, that's in the air. Good. And then scoop into your low belly. Turn those right toes back down to the floor. Down dog split. Kick that heel higher. Yes, and then step the right foot between the hands, lunge. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. And then arms overhead, interlace your fingers, pointer fingers come to the sky. Turn that outer left hip forward just a little bit more so your top of your right hip can go back. Good, you guys. And then side body stretch to your right, please. Reach. Yep, so as you reach to the right, the natural tendency is going to be to push your pelvis out to the left. So don't do that. Pull your hips back in towards the midline. Good, keep that front knee pointing towards second toe. So Melody, move that knee a little wider. Yeah, you got it. Good, come back up to center with your upper body. Reach the other way, so go to the other side body stretch to the left. Good, keep reaching out through your fingertips here, you guys. Get as long through your arms as you can. And again, you're not just pulling through your arms, but you're pulling from your armpits. You're pulling from your ribs. Good, come back up to center, please. Nice job. Take your torso forward, parallel to the floor. Pause for a moment, stretch out through those fingertips, push out. Pull back through your hips. Nice. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Good job. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. Good. Blocks underneath the hands if you need them. Good. Your entire practice is to come to a peaceful place. Peaceful place where you are not in conflict with this idea of the little I am, is what we call it. The ego identity is not in conflict with the cosmic identity. And so, well, how can that be possible? One of them is infinite and one of them is very limited. Limitation is not in and of itself a cause for or a need for conflict. There's understanding that can be there. There's refinement that can be there. There's organization, there's movement that's there with limitation. But it doesn't have to come with all of the things that we associate with conflict. So can you bypass the places in your mind that want to continue to look at the world in those ways, the conflict ways? Not try to get rid of those places in your mind, just bypass them. Notice them and walk right by. But there's another path you can take. There's another way you can look. One more breath. Scoop your low belly so that you're pushing your hips high to the sky and then you're dropping your forehead towards your shin any amount. Good. And then bend that front knee, please. Step forward, top of your mat. Good. Take both legs to straight and bow. Yeah, hands to the floor. Forward fold. Good. Feet right underneath the hips, please. Right hand comes to your outer left ankle or shin. Take your left arm to the sky. Good. Again, don't let your hips swivel to the side here. So you're keeping that top right hip and thigh pulling back. Good. And then bend that right elbow so you draw yourself in just a little bit more towards that left leg. Good. And then draw the heart center back and wide towards the upper right-hand corner. Draw your throat back to the upper right-hand corner, but keep that right elbow bent so you're pulling yourself in. Scoop your belly, push your butt to the sky. Get long through your legs. Good. And then release, come back to center. Try the other side. Left hand to outer right ankle or shin. Right arm comes to the sky. Good. And so the idea is I don't want you to get stuck in this feeling that you have to just keep pulling into a twist, meaning that you're going to look more to the right. That's not what's really the full relevance here. Is if you bend that left elbow and you pull yourself in a little deeper towards the legs, is that you start to get in more into your side body. Good. And then if you're drawing that outer left hip and thigh back and wide, you're keeping your pelvis a little bit more level. And then as your heart falls back on that diagonal, even though you still have that elbow bent pulling you in, again, you're getting into the long muscles of your back, the long muscles of your legs. Scoop your belly in, push your butt to the sky, push down through your heels. Good. Don't worry about how deep you're going to the right. Think about how long you're getting through your back and through your legs. And then release that hand down to the floor, come back to center. Nice job. Plant the hand, step or jump yourself back to plank pose. Good. Find that feeling of dragging the arms back, but pulling the chest forward. Good. Find that feeling of pressing up through the back of your throat, pulling up through the inner thighs, and then arching the heart forward just a little bit more, wide chest. Nice. Vasisthasana, right hand holds you, stack the feet, left arm to the sky. Don't lose that feeling of pulling long. So you still have to pull your chest forward towards the tips of your fingers. Good. Nice. Step that top leg forward, please. Yep. So top foot steps forward, knee is bent, push into that foot, and then open the chest a little wider. Yeah, come in more towards that back bend, but then take the left arm over your ear. Yeah, so you're reaching long, and I want you to spiral your heart to the sky. And you've got that left foot to the floor to help you, so no excuses. Good. And then slowly release, please. You can step that top foot back if you'd like, or just come straight back to down dog. Take a breath. Good. And then slide forward to plank pose again, upward push up. Again, finding that feeling of full length of your body, pulling the front body up away from the floor, and then lengthening through the back body so that you don't go into a full rounded. Nice. Left side, left hand holds you, right arm to the sky, Vasisthasana. You can do this on the forearms as well if you need to. Good. Pull long. So some of you are going really beautifully arched in your ribs, and I like that. But I want you to get longer here. So I want you to actually lengthen your left side ribs forward, pull forward. Good. And then step the top foot forward in front of you, bend the knee, plant the foot. And so you're pushing into both legs. Keep that right hip stacked on top of the left. Rotate the right rib cage back, heart to the sky. And left arm comes over the ear. Sorry, right arm comes over the ear. Yeah, the arm that's lifted comes over your ear. But then still open the chest. Drag that right hip crease back. Yes. I know this isn't easy. Good. And then slowly release, downward facing dog. Beautiful. And left leg comes up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Keeping the legs straight, stack the left hip on top of the right. Good. Keep your right armpit lifted as you do that so you're not dropping into that side, and keep your head in line with your upper arm so you're not dropping your head completely. Good. Reach as long as you can. Pull back through that heel. So it's like you're taking the weight out of your hands because your hips are still pulling up and back. Good. And then scoop your belly, please. Take those toes to face down towards the floor again. Down dog split. Kick your heel higher. Nice. And then step that foot between the hands. Lunge, left foot forward. Inhale, both arms to the sky. High lunge. Good. Arms come up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Point your fingers to the sky. Good. Pull up. The idea is that you are squeezing the arms towards each other and you're pulling from that space of your armpits, like someone's lifting your side ribs. Many of you have had that adjustment in class where we take our hands to your rib cage and we pull up. So imagine that happening. Pull up. And then side body stretch to your left. Good. Still with that feeling that we're pulling your ribs up out of your pelvis. So keep doing that you draw long through your spine. And don't push your hips out to the right. Keep them midline. Come back up to the center, please. Good. Take your side body stretch the other way. Reach to your right. And again, if this arm position doesn't work, you can take hands behind your head. You can change the arm position if you need. Keep squeezing, though, through the arms. Keep reaching. Good. Come back up to center, please. Hold the arm position. Take your torso forward, parallel to the floor. Reach out. Try to keep your head and arms in line with each other. So that means you either have to lift your arms higher or drop your head lower, but find it. Good. Reach out. Pull your hips back. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Nice job. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. Blocks underneath the hands. Great idea. Good. Nice. Then breathe into whatever is there. The idea is that if I win, you win. So every bit of effort you put into creating peace within you is going to benefit me. And every bit of effort I put into creating peace in me is going to benefit you. And so that's always in my mind. What I'm doing has the potential to benefit everything that exists. That's what it means to be interconnected. We don't get to choose that interconnectedness. It's just the way that it is. The yoga says you start to realize the true reality, which is that it doesn't matter how you think about it, is that's what's true, is we are interconnected. It doesn't mean you have to become something or someone that you aren't. You benefit the world best by being you, but the best version of you that's possible. One more breath, scoop into your belly, push your hips higher, drop your forehead towards that front shin. Good. And then bend that front knee, please. Step the right foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Beautiful. Bend your knees, drop your belly onto your thighs, chin towards your chest, so drop the head. Wrap your arms around the backs of your legs, so squeeze, so hug, hug, hug. Good. And as you're hugging, knees bend a little deeper. Good. So keep the hips low, squeeze the legs, and then round into your back again. Try to pull your belly up off of your thighs as you drop your hips lower. Good. Keep your head relaxed. Your head doesn't have to do anything here. You're just squeezing in, scooping your belly, pulling up. Good. And then maintain that hug and that same roundness in your back. Press into your heels. Start to push your hips up towards the sky. Keep yourself hugged in. Relax your head. You're coming into straight legs any amount. Relax your head. Good. Legs do not have to be completely straight, but I want you to find how much you can extend through your legs, pushing into your heels and lifting up through your hips when you are that hugged in. Good. And then release the hands to the floor, please. Nice job. Roll up the spine one vertebra at a time. Come up to stand. Good. And then bring the right knee up and towards your chest. Yep, right knee hugs up. Good. Cross that right thigh on top of your left, so wrap the thighs and the outer shins for eagle. You're bending your left knee, and you're squeezing the shins together. You're squeezing the thighs together. Good. And then that top of your right hip pulls back in space. So once you've crossed the legs, you got to pull your right hip back and spin your left hip point forward. Good. And then left arm crosses over top of right in front of your chest. Wrap the arms to mirror the legs. Yep, you got it, Sherry. Good. Good. And then again, you're squeezing those shins together. You're scooping your low belly, drop your tail a little lower. Trick to this pose is to get low into your seat, is to get low into the place where there is that fundamental feeling of this is how I experience belonging in the world. Because if I have something missing there, then I'm going to use every other resource I have in me to try and fix that missing piece, to try to find it. And then I'm in competition with the world because I know that I need something for me before I can feel safe, before I can be at peace. Good. Keep the arms in eagle arms. As you start to come up, please, straightening the legs. Unwrap that right leg. Swing it back behind you into warrior three. Lean the torso forward. Arms still in eagle. Good. Yeah, so you're reaching through that right leg. And just like in plank pose, I want you to extend out, navel in, lift the back of your heart, lift up through the back of your throat. Good. And then step back, high lunge, arms in eagle. Inhale, lift the elbows, and then sweep the arms all the way around and up to the sky. Don't give up. I don't care if it's graceful. Good. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. Fantastic. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Vinyasa if you'd like, child's pose if you prefer. If you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, you're lowering down slow, rising up into cobra. Good. Long side body. And then finding your way back to downward facing dog. Good. And if you're in child's pose, take one more breath and then meet us back in downward facing dog. Good. And then move your feet just a little bit closer towards your hands in dog. So maybe just a step closer. Good. And then right hand, move it a little bit more center under your gaze. Reach your left hand back to find your right ankle. So a twisting down dog. So you're reaching underneath you to find that ankle. And reach for the outer edge of the leg instead of the inner. Good. Try to keep equal weight on your feet. Keep your hips level. Good. Pressing into that right hand, look up underneath the armpit. You got it. Nice, you guys. Scoop your belly. Push the tops of your thighs back. Good. And then release and switch. So the left hand comes down to the floor. Right hand reaches for outer left ankle or shin. Reaching underneath you. Good. Keep pulling back into the legs. Don't rely just on the arm to do the work. Good. And then slowly release back to downward facing dog. Nice job. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Good. Super bonus points if you jumped. Good job, you guys. OMG, I think that's the first time I've seen the majority of the screen jump. Good job. Best version of you is the version that jumps, right? Good. Take your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Best version of you is the one that's not afraid to jump. Good. And still makes the best choice because jumping is not always number one. Left knee up and towards your chest. Good. Cross that thigh over top of the right. So you're wrapping the inner thighs and the outer shins for eagle. And then you're bending your right knee a lot. And as you bend that right knee, you're lifting your hip points up. So try not to fall into that feeling of tilting your pelvis forward here. I want it to stay as lifted as it can as you bend your right knee and you drop your seat. And then right arm comes on top of left in front of your chest. Wrapping the forearms. There you go. Good, Sherry. You got it. You got it, Meredith. And then go low, you guys. Go low. Good. In that feeling of really dropping into how it is you feel that you belong in the world. Good. What demands do you feel are placed on you? What are you afraid that you're not going to live up to? I want you to acknowledge all of those things because they're in there. Good. As you slowly come up out of this pose, keep your arms wrapped, unwrap that left leg, swing it back behind you, come into warrior three. Chest comes forward, heart comes forward. Good. Reach long, like your body is in plank pose, but you're balanced on one leg. Good. Back of the heart pulls up, stretch out through that thigh, stretch out through your side body. Nice. And then step back to high lunge, please. Arms still in eagle, lift the elbows a little higher. Good. And then sweep the arms around and up, reach for the sky, inhale. Yes. And then release the hands down to the floor. Beautiful. Step back, downward facing dog. Good job, you guys. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees if you need. Good. Rise up, cobra. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, you guys. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Come into warrior two, please. Oh boy. All right, don't change the legs, but bring your hands back down to the floor. Yeah. So you're gonna come back into warrior two, but you're gonna do it like you mean it. Yeah, so set that back leg, set your legs, and then as you cartwheel the arms up, place them there with intention so that there's less of that sort of flailing action of, okay, I'm trying to get into this pose, but I'm flailing my way into it. Good. So again, steady your breath so that every step that you take is one that is full of that awareness of how you're moving in the world, not just I'm trying to get into this pose or I'm trying to get into this moment through this moment. How you do it makes all the difference. Good. Start to straighten your front thigh, please. Squeeze the legs towards each other and then extend, reaching forward for Trikonasana. So reach as long as you can and then pause. Yeah, so don't come all the way down. Reach out long and then pause. And then turn your left rib cage up towards the sky again. Rotate. Yes. And then stretch your left arm over your ear as well. So both arms are reaching forward. Don't reach for the floor yet. Both arms forward. Good. And then swing that right arm underneath you so it's pointing straight out from your chest so that your arms are crisscrossed and you still haven't touched the floor yet, but your whole body is in triangle pose. So find triangle even though your hands are not touching the floor. Rotate your ribs. Squeeze your legs. Good. Now drop that right hand down to touch the front leg floor or block and realize that this is just another version of what triangle pose can be. Good. It's not the be all end all of triangle, or it's not the only triangle that you're allowed to like. It's not the only way that you experience that the physical meaning of triangle in your body. What we're asked to do as yogis is to step out of that feeling that limitation is something that binds you and into the idea that limitation is something that refines you. That your relationships, especially the ones that are challenging, are things that refine you so that you understand more of your identity. You understand that there's no conflict between the cosmic self and you as you are living. There's difference, but there's not conflict. Deep breath in. Good. Bend that right knee, please. Release the hands to the floor. Walk inside the front foot. Come to the center of your mat. So walk to your left. Turn the toes, wide legs. Pause and hang. Hold opposite elbows if you'd like, or reach for your ankles. Whatever makes you happy. Good. Rest for a moment. Let your hips fall forward a little bit more. Let your shins move forward. Every part of us that still wants to live in the world through conflict, fine. Notice those parts of you and then look a little deeper for what are you trying to accomplish in your conflicts? What are you trying to get from the world that's going to fill in maybe a gap in that identity? That's going to fill in that space of this is how I belong in the world. Maybe you can imagine yourself as a different way of belonging in the world. There's a different way of getting that feeling that doesn't involve conflict. Good. Bring your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Turn your left toes outward towards what will be the back of your mat, or for most of you is what you consider the back of your mat. Good. And then just come into warrior two, facing that direction. Take your arms out wide. So bend the left knee. Yep. Good. Reaching long through the arms. And again, bring your arms forward in space just a little bit. So just like you did with the hands behind your head, I want you to hollow that armpit space. And I want you to feel like you can still squeeze into your armpits so that the muscles around the armpits are actually engaging. They're drawing down as you lift your chest up. So try to pull down through those side ribs as you pull up through your chest. Good. So it's like you're squeezing your arms towards each other even though they're not moving in space. One more breath. Nice. And then don't change anything about the upper body, but straighten the front thigh. Preparation for triangle. Reach your left rib cage forward, so go as long as you can into that reach and then pause. Good. Squeeze the legs together. And then take the right arm over your ear as well, so you're reaching as long as you can through both sides of your ribs. Turn your right rib cage higher towards the sky. Good. And then keep the right arm where it is. Swing your left arm underneath you so your arms are crisscrossing. Good. So the left arm reaches straight out from the chest. Reach. All directions reach. Keep leaning. Keep squeezing the legs. Good. Heart to the sky. Nice. And then drop that left hand down to find the front leg floor or block. Right arm comes to the sky. Classical Trikonasana. Good. And you're still reaching as long as you can through the side body. Long through your throat. Sending the inner thighs wide away from each other, but squeezing the feet towards each other. Good. And the little I am has no conflict with the cosmic I am. You can just live life as it is. And yeah, there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be places where we don't see eye to eye, but it doesn't create that feeling of friction or that feeling of separation, that somehow you are not connected to me and I am not connected to you, that I can disregard you. That's what we give up in yoga, the ability to disregard the importance of something else's existence. Good. Bend that front knee, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Walk back towards the center of your mat. Turn your toes, wide legs. Good. Hang again for a moment, holding opposite elbows or reaching for your feet. Nice. And then release the hands. Take your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer if necessary, and then turn both feet out to 45 degrees. Bend your knees, come into high squat. Good. So here the knees should be right on top of your ankles. If that's not possible, you've got to move your feet a little bit wider so that that is possible. Good. And then you're lifting the front edge of your pelvis. So again, you can drop through your tail, but you're lifting the front edge of your pelvis so that your sacrum gets longer. And then stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Good. Interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky, pull long through your spine. The whole idea here is I don't want you to focus on, oh my God, my legs have to do so much work. I do want your legs to work. Squeeze your feet towards each other. Get your thighs to go wider. Good. So as you drop through your pelvis, pull up through your side ribs. Good. This is about the length of your body. Nice, Alana. One more breath. Reach. Beautiful. And then straighten the legs, please. Turn your toes forward, reach back behind you, interlace the fingers at the low back. So you're still in wide legs, toes parallel. Deep breath in, bow forward, stretch the arms up and over any amount. Good. It's so fun that some of you who are practicing right next to a buddy, as I still almost get to say, like, just be careful you don't put your head in your buddy's butt. Still be careful. Thank you for that little bit of normalcy. Squeeze your upper arms. Reach your chest forward. Reach up through the back of your throat. Yeah. Longest spine you've ever had in a forward fold. Good. And then release, please. Hands to the floor. Good. Walk back towards the top of your mat, please. Turn the toes. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Deep breath in. Deeper breath out. And then drop the knees to the floor, please. Circle the hips. Good. Go the other way with your circling. Again, meaningful hip circles. What the meaning of your hip circles is up to you, but make them meaningful. Good. And then come to stillness. Drop your hips back to your heels just for a moment. Child's pose. Good. And walk yourself back up, please. Come to sit. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Baddha Konasana. This is one of my favorite ones to throw at you to ask if anyone knows the Sanskrit. And of course, you're muted, so you can't answer me. But some of you should know what the Sanskrit for this pose actually means. Many of you should know it, actually. So holding your ankles, please. Hold on to your ankles. I want you to pull up. So get your spine as long as you can, and then pull up on your ankles. So use your hands to pull up. But then push the baby toe edges of your feet down and press your groins down. So your knees might pop up a little bit, but I want you to feel that feeling of you're extending your spine because of that hold you have on your ankles. Pull up. Good. And then as you start to pull forward into your forward fold, you're going to bend the elbows out wide. The forearms can come in front of your shins, or the elbows can rest on the knees if that is where they land. But I want you to draw your spine as long as you can. Keep drawing the shoulders away from the ears as you come forward, and keep pulling up on your ankles. So Baddha Konasana, many times we like to translate it, or people do translate it automatically as butterfly, because that's what we hear when we're kids. We call it butterfly legs. But that's not what it means in Sanskrit. What it means is bound angle. The angle of the knees that's being referenced, the angle of the legs. It's a bound pose, but it's one that creates freedom in your hips. And the more you pull into it, right, you use muscular energy here, you create a long spine. You make space in your pelvis because you're drawing your spine long. Everything that binds you is meant to refine you. Plain and simple. Walk yourself back up, please. Nice job. Stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. Good. Left foot to the inside of the right leg. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Little twist to your right, bow over the right leg, Janu Shirshasana. Head to knee pose. Giving you a little Sanskrit quiz. Know your poses. Again, the name is to reference that possibly in this forward fold, your head might come to your knee. But if you focus on trying to make that happen, is you miss the possibility of really just getting long in your spine. So that's the trick of the ego identity, is that if you look at the limitations of this is who I think that I am, I can't possibly go beyond that, otherwise I won't be who I think I am. And you miss the opportunity to explore the edges of what you could be, or what this personality is capable of being, if you didn't care about those limitations. Walk yourself back up. Good. Switch the legs. Take the left leg forward. Bend the right knee. Take the bottom of the foot to the inside of the left leg. Let it drop wide. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Little twist to your left. So you're turning the ribs as well as low in your trunk. So you're moving that right hip point forward just a little bit, and then bow over the left leg. Good, you guys. Suddenly remember that there's a whole second page. Sorry for everybody I haven't been looking at. They're still in my mind. Good. I win, you win. Phrase coined by my husband and his friend from high school. So that's how they play board games. So even if they're not on a team together, that's what they decide. Instead of one of them wins, the other one is also winning. And what's amazing is that it allows them to play the game exactly how they want to play it. And it doesn't matter what happens. One of them can be losing miserably, and they can still point to the other and say, still winning. And that's that feeling of interconnected, is that it doesn't have to everything happen the way you want it to still have that feeling of uplifting everything, still being the best version of you possible, even if you're not getting what you want. Walk yourself back up. Good. Take your feet flat to the floor, please. Knees facing up towards the ceiling, so both feet flat to the floor. Take your hands back behind you, fingers pointing towards your hips if they can, but if not, let them turn out. And then press into your feet, please. Draw your rib cage in, lift your hips up off the floor, reverse fold. Good. And this, again, from the back of your heart, I want you to feel that cupping in of your shoulder blades, so that the tips of your shoulder blades are what's lifting and spreading your heart open. And then the tops of your thighs are lifting up, but you're pulling your tail towards your heels. Good. So everything you would normally do in bridge pose, I want you to do it here. If you can't remember what you would normally do in bridge pose, do your best. Good. One more deep breath. Get long in the front body, long in the back. And then release the hips down to the floor. Nice job. Scoot yourself forward so you can find your way onto your backs. It's really good, you guys. All the Jennifers are on the second page. Good. Bend your knees, plant your feet. Set your arms alongside you, either straight or bend the elbows into robot arms. So that means fingers point up towards the ceiling. Good. Press down into the arms. So again, you have this lifting and widening through your chest. Press into your feet, drag your butt towards your heels. Good. And then from there, from your armpits, start to reach up. So I want your armpits to lift first, and then you can lift your hips up into that same line. Come into bridge. Good. But I want it to be that lifting from the back of your heart first. Nice, you guys. Set your arms, lift and widen the chest, long throat, push through the crown of your head. Beautiful. Optional, right leg to the sky. Nice. Extra super bonus points if you do it. Good. Good. Release that foot down, left leg up. And as that leg lifts up, it means your hips go higher because now you're reaching through that heel. So that's not a limitation, that's an invitation to get bigger. Good. And then release that foot down, deep breath in, whole pose. And then release the hips down to the floor. Nice job. Pause and rest for a moment. Good. And separate your feet as wide as your mat, please. Windshield wiper the knees right and left, so moving them side to side. Again, if you are right next to someone on the mat, just try and make sure you're going the same direction. Good. Don't create opportunities for conflict where they're not necessary. Good. Next time your knees drop to the right, please let them stay there. Good. If you'd like to place your right ankle on top of your left thigh, you're welcome to do that. Giving a little extra stretch through the left side body. If that doesn't feel good on the knee doesn't appreciate that. Step the foot off of the leg. We had the attitude that if you win, I win. Nothing about either of us has to be different. We can just play the game the best way that we know how, the best way that we want to, maybe with the other person in mind, maybe not. If we're playing the game the best way we can, being the best version of ourselves, that there will be far fewer instances of conflict. And if we know who we are, we're not looking for those missing pieces somewhere out in the world, then we can approach people saying, I want nothing from you except for you to be the best version of you and me to be the best version of me. Because I am you and you are me. Come from the same place. Come back to center, please. Feet flat to the floor, knees, feet as wide as your mat. Drop the knees to the left. And again, the option is to place the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Creates a little bit of extra stretch through that outer hip and thigh. Again, if the knee does not appreciate that, take the weight off. There is nothing that I need to give away from myself in order to try to make an individual outside of me happy. That never works very well. So it starts with the ability to understand your own identity. Understand who it is that you think that you are and what you believe your feeling of belonging in the world is attached to. When we're good at that, there's no conflict between the little I am and the cosmic I am. Then we can just play the game. And it'll have the ups and downs, the twists and turns, the quote winning, quote losing. But it will always feel like you are complete, like you're winning. I win, you win. Come back to center, please. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Come into happy baby, draw your knees wide, reaching for the ankles or inner or outer edges of your feet. Good, keeping the low back anchored to the floor. Beautiful. And then bring the bottoms of the feet together. Please drop your heels in towards your groin, Baddha Konasana, without putting the feet on the floor. Keep your legs lifted, just heels in towards your groin, holding your ankles. So again, that feeling that that bound angle of the legs is opening the hips, opening the lower back. Giving a chance for that openness to spread upward into the side body, into the upper back, behind the heart, behind the throat. Good. And then squeeze the knees all the way in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees, hug. And then slowly release, unwinding your body, stretching the legs out in front of you. Arms alongside you, find your way into Shavasana. Whatever rises up in you as limitation or an excuse to not believe in the biggest, best version that you could be. Acknowledge it, but breathe beyond it. Walk yourself to the edge of who you think you are and stare past it. The space of who you could be, might be, already are, but haven't stepped into.
Hi.
Very gently bring your awareness back to your breath. body begin to stretch, move, whatever way serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Or again, if you've been enjoying Lotus Mudra, stick with it, drawing the middle three fingers wide as the heels of the hands stay together. Again, this mudra is one that is said to be one that says, how may I serve? The definition, or it's the meaning that we place behind it, is how may I serve? So where is it in me that this embodiment, this body, this mind, this identity, exactly who I am, where is the potential for me to serve the interconnectedness of everything? And not how can I serve the way somebody else says that I should, or the way that I've been told is the best way to do it, or the way that, is really the most meaningful. How can I serve that is directly a result of me being myself? What is the way that I can speak in the world, walk in the world, act in the world, in my everyday, that is going to uplift myself and you? How can I walk in the world without conflict? Because if I win, if that's what's happening in me, then you win. And if you win, that's what's happening in you, then I win. And that's what it means to be in that interconnectedness. That's what it means to say that you are me and I am you. And neither of us has to change who we are. We just have to rise up into being the best version of who we can be. And we refine each other. So draw that deep down into the space of your mind, your heart, deep down into the pelvis, into who you believe that you are, as your ability to uplift this world by being yourself. And we'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so, so much. I'm going to unmute you.
Thank you.
Welcome.